Hi guys. Well, I'm going to talk to you today as a CF4 responder to CF4 responders. I know there's different levels of experience in the group and certainly different levels of people who've responded for many years and some people only starting. The point I'm trying to get across today is time. The amount of time that we have from the call to arriving to the patient. Okay, oh sorry, I didn't see coming out there. I'm going to stand over this side so I can see. Okay, so from the time a casualty goes down to the time somebody actually comes around to making a decision that the person needs help, as we saw from the first video earlier this morning, it can be any amount of time, even when there's people there. Okay? The old, give him a kick, see does he move, maybe call John. John comes down 5 minutes later, looks and says, geez, I think we better call the ambulance for this fella. We've lost 2 minutes already before that decision is made. This is best case scenario. Professor Chamberlain says we've got 8 minutes to make a difference. By the time the call taker in dispatch takes the details and activates the emergency services along with the responder group, we've another 2 minutes down. So out of our 8 minutes that we're trying to get this across, we've already lost 4. So how are we going to make a difference? The difference is to be ready before the call happens. I'd like to see another little circle in there from the time the call goes off and another little circle in the chain for responders, the actual response itself, for the time that we receive the call to the time that we get to the patient. This is a race, okay? This is the Grim Reaper, affectionately known as Janet in our group for reasons that can be explained by herself. She's down the back there. But she's getting better. So we need to start as soon as the call comes in. Where are we when the call comes in? In the bath, the bubbles around us, trying to avoid the little cold drip from the tap with your toes. You're in a restaurant, you're in the bed, and the call goes off. Okay? I don't know what kind of alerts you have on your phone, but when that happens at home with me, I go into an arrhythmia. I wake up, I can feel the hair standing on my head, my fingers start to shake, and my pulse is totally non-palpable because I was going way too fast. So what am I going to do? I'm going to write a CPG for me and for a certain couple of members of our group. Okay, and this CPG is to get us from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs, both dressed and alive. Okay, so I'm going to have to wait for 10 seconds. I know it's all about time, but for that 10 seconds, I need to concentrate. I need to relax, and I need to look at my phone again to see, is it actually a call for our group? Where we're based in Passage, we also cover Cove. We're not that good swimmers, but because of our location, we cover across the water as well. So I need to make sure that the call is for Passage before I actually go into full flatline here. Okay? The next one is, I need to turn out dressed. We do have one particular responder who is brilliant, nearly 100% response rate. And it's actually getting more popular when she turns out because it's in the pajamas she ends up. Okay, so the next thing is to be ready. Every second that we can shave off this response, from the time we get to the call to the time we get to the patient, is going to make a difference. We could be just 2 seconds too late for where the heart goes into a non-returnable rhythm. So let's try and get this level of response down both efficiently and safely. So they're my shoes, by the way, just to, the shoes ready, the lace is opened, the AED is ready, checked, batteries checked, pads are checked, spare pads are checked. When? Not when I'm running down the stairs trying to get my shoes on and get the jocks on and everything else. They're checked every day. The bag is ready every day. Everything is in the bag. The keys are hanging on the wall, ready to go. Okay? This is Betsy. When you arrive out to the driveway and Betsy's sitting out, is it facing inwards? Okay, the same responder I won't mention her name. We live quite close together. When the call goes off, I usually run around to her. She nearly drove over me on the last one. Okay, how she missed me, I don't know, with the fleece on and all the rest. She had to mount the paths and everything to get at me. So, is the car facing in? Is it a cold night? Is the window frosted? Are you going to be going down the road with your head sticking out the window and the teardrops freezing in your eyes because the window has 2 inches of ice on it, and you're trying to get a call, reading the phone, charging the AED, putting the gloves on as you go down the road? A bit of newspaper over the, sorry, I'm going to just need a bit of lubrication here. A bit of newspaper over the window, keep the bit of ice off the window. Is the AED in the car? Okay? If the AED is in the car and the sub-zero temperatures in the car, I've gone out to my car and the bottle of water has been frozen the next morning. The gel on the pads freezes. It turns to water if it happens too much. Okay, so be careful of where you keep your AEDs. Again, there's no point in making a good response if the equipment isn't going to work when you arrive. So the car facing out, a bit of petrol in it also can help. I know we're not responding far, it might be only 5 or 6 kilometres. We had a case of once where we actually had to use the cars to light up the scene. Okay, so you don't want the car ending up with no petrol in it. So facing out, clean window, ready to go. And this has to be all the time. This isn't something that happens, well, we're on all the time, but if you're on call, that has to happen when you're on call. You have to have this level of readiness in order to make the call efficient and safe. We need to get back in the same physical manner as we were when we were left. We may not always get back in the same emotional manner, but we can deal with that later. Okay, we need to get back to our families safe, and by having this level of readiness, we can do. When we arrive on scene, not everything on the outside is going to be the same as the inside. Be careful when you go into a scene. Don't rush in, okay? Take another 10 seconds. I know I seem to be adding to the time, but all these fine refinements are going to make a difference between getting out there in one piece in time and efficiently and being able to do something. We went in, the very first call I had, again, I don't know what kind of a rhythm I was in by the time I got there, but when I went into the house, past 2 elderly parents at the front door, where is he? Up the stairs, onto the bed. So he was sitting up, sat down beside him. I said, "Are you all right? Why did you call us?" And he apologized and said that he was a drug addict and he had just used. At that stage, I think my rhythm went completely, and I stood up very gingerly and just had a quick check to make sure that there wasn't anything sticking out of me. Okay? I still worry about that scene. Okay? Scene safety has to be maintained at all times. The excitement of the call, which let's not have any doubts, the adrenaline rush and the ability to respond is fantastic, but we have a scene safety that we need to maintain. I've been in the voluntaries for 10 years and we were beaten with scene safety. Scene safety, gloves on, you come in and you wave your fingers and they all go, yeah, that's great. And then you totally forget about it when you do your first call. Okay, so again, all these different aspects of the call, by making them efficient and fine-tuning them, is going to allow you to respond quickly and efficiently. Eventually, when you do get to the call, to be honest, I think is the easiest bit. We have trained hard for this. We constantly do refreshers. The AED tells us what to do. Hopefully we'll have a friend or a colleague there, or the ambulance service, please God, will arrive fairly soon, and sometimes they can beat us to the calls, which is great. I heard during one of the workshops somebody saying, you know, don't turn away. Don't turn away if you see the ambulance there. Keep going. I will always respond, even if I'm late, even if the call comes in or I didn't hear it. Now, I'm not likely not to hear it with that noise that my phone makes, but if you arrive late, that video we saw at the start with Eugene, that was 8 minutes before he got help. So we may not have a cardiac arrest from the instant the phone goes off. Follow through with the call, make sure the ambulance service if there's anything they need, or if there's any way you can help. Sometimes if a lot of our responders turn up, we'll say to the ambulance crew, guys, there's a lot of us here, we're going to make ourselves scarce. And they'll say, yeah, keep 2 here, and the rest of us head away. Okay? So that's basically all I have to get across to you today. Try and fine-tune your response. Make sure you're very familiar with your equipment. Make sure that your pads are in date, battery is good, the AED is available, okay? We can't all be sitting at the end of the stairs in the fleece with the gloves on, waiting for the phone to go off. We, in Passage West Monkstown, might get one call a month. We don't have a lot of high-volume calls, but the calls we do get, we make a difference, and we have a history of making a difference, okay? So, and as you know, it's great when you do make a difference. Sometimes it's hard when you don't. Just one last thing. When you're responding, we've had 1 or 2 drug-related and self-harm calls. Make yourself ready for them, okay? Make yourself ready to talk about it afterwards, and make yourself ready for the scene that you may see when you arrive. Okay? So walk away from here today with remembering me for telling you your time has to be safe and efficient, because as we saw from the start, we don't have much to play with. Okay? Thanks very much.